The ongoing feud between Drake and Kendrick Lamar has become a significant moment in hip-hop this year. With a series of diss tracks exchanged, the conflict has unfolded like a classic mixtape rivalry, fueled by pride, legacy, and years of tension. Kendrick Lamar's song, Not Like Us, has been recognized as a pivotal point in his career, but the aftermath of their dispute has taken an unexpected turn. Instead of allowing things to settle, Drake seems determined to keep the feud going. Only now, he's not just losing the battle, he's also damaging his reputation. By the way, welcome to Celebrity Hip Hop Showroom, where hip hop and celebrity drama never sleep, so hit that subscribe button so you never miss the mess. Let's get into it. Drake has always been an artist who values control over his image, his releases, and the narrative around him. This strategy has served him well for much of his career, allowing him to navigate scandals, turn conflicts into hit singles, and remain one of the most successful figures in the genre. However, Kendrick Lamar has disrupted that balance. When Kendrick released Euphoria, it became clear that the dynamics had shifted. This was not just a friendly rivalry, it was a direct challenge to Drake's credibility, and it hit hard. Although Drake tried to respond with tracks like Family Matters and a series of other songs, including those involving AI controversies and quick freestyles, none had the same impact as Kendrick's disses. Then came Not Like Us, a track that served as an anthem, a celebration, and a symbolic end to Drake's previously untouchable status. Kendrick didn't need to tweet or seek attention. The music itself conveyed everything, and the culture embraced it. Not Like Us not only topped the charts but also became the soundtrack for a movement, resonating in barbershops, block parties, clubs, and even NBA arenas. In one decisive moment, Kendrick Lamar achieved what many had tried and failed to do. He diminished Drake's stature. At this point, many expected Drake to retreat and regroup, perhaps strategizing quietly as he did after his feud with Meek Mill. Instead, he has remained active, making subtle jabs, liking questionable posts, and throwing low-key insults during live streams. Recently, he has continued to comment on the rivalry as if it were still open for discussion. However, the truth is that it's not. Every action Drake takes now seems like an attempt at damage control disguised as confidence. Whether he's discussing leaked group chats, making vague references to the other side, or participating in interviews with sympathetic outlets that frame the narrative in his favor, it all comes across as insecure. It's the behavior of someone who knows he has lost but is unwilling to admit it, and that's where the real embarrassment lies. In hip-hop, it's possible to lose a battle and still gain respect. For example, Nas didn't end Jay-Z's career with Ether, but he preserved his legacy. Likewise, 50 Cent may have triumphed over Ja Rule, yet Ja still has enduring hits that outlast their rivalry. There's a certain dignity in accepting defeat gracefully. However, Drake is dragging this situation out, turning what could have been a brief moment into a lasting stain. The fans' reactions reflect this change. The memes have shifted from humorous to more somber. The conversations are no longer lively, they've become one-sided. Even the media landscape is evolving. Outlets that once celebrated Drake's every move are now questioning his choices. Analysts are scrutinizing his lyrics not for hidden genius but to find signs of desperation. Take, for example, the last track he teased on his burner account, an unreleased verse allegedly recorded after Not Like Us. Instead of a strong comeback, it was more of the same, disjointed flows, vague threats, and more boasting than actual conflict. It didn't sound like a champion reclaiming his title, it felt like someone trying to prove their relevance. This situation goes beyond Kendrick. It's about how Drake is managing the aftermath and revealing weaknesses in an image that seemed unshakable for over a decade. The same artist who once appeared to be ahead of the cultural curve now seems to be struggling to keep pace. Moreover, there's a noticeable silence from his peers. Where is the support and endorsement? The industry that once revolved around Drake is starting to shift. Artists are distancing themselves, with some subtly aligning with Kendrick's side. The balance of power is changing, and Drake is aware of it. Let's be clear, Drake remains a major force in the industry, one of the most commercially successful artists today, capable of filling arenas and topping charts. However, Culturally, he finds himself in unfamiliar territory. He's no longer the voice of what's cool or the artist that others hesitate to challenge. This is a precarious position for someone like Drake, whose brand relies on an image of invincibility. In contrast, Kendrick has stayed silent. He hasn't publicly addressed the feud or celebrated his success. Instead, he's let his music speak for itself, and that silence resonates more powerfully than any interview. It's a lesson in allowing the work to shine on its own. It conveys strength and composure, making Drake's ongoing jabs feel increasingly out of place. Every time Drake attempts to outshine Kendrick, it only emphasizes that he's already fallen behind. It's like watching someone try to respond to a joke that has already captured the audience. The moment has passed, and the crowd has moved on, but Drake remains on stage, microphone in hand, trying to win a battle that has already ended. Even those closest to him seem unsure. There's a clear drop in enthusiasm for his new releases, and the excitement and confidence are fading. His live streams with influencers feel more like promotional strategies than authentic connections. Instead of letting his music shine, he's leaning into controversy to stay relevant. This isn't the Drake that fans originally connected with. This situation often arises when someone's ego prevents them from accepting defeat. When pride refuses to see a moment for what it truly is. Rather than acknowledging a loss and coming back stronger, Drake keeps pushing forward, hoping to shift the narrative. However, the more he tries, the more fans push back. They're not looking for excuses or distractions. They're tired of the victim mentality, the false bravado, and the empty displays of strength. They want the old Drake, the motivated Drake, who let his lyrics speak for themselves instead of relying on public relations. Perhaps this is the core issue. Drake no longer raps as if he has something to prove. Instead, he raps as if he's trying to protect what he already has. That's a crucial difference. When competing against someone like Kendrick, who approaches every line as if it could be his last, where every word matters, that distinction can be harmful. It's not that Drake can't make a comeback, he definitely can. He's too talented, strategic, and smart not to. But to do so, he must stop pretending he hasn't faced a setback. He needs to recognize that this isn't a fair fight. Kendrick has come out on top, and that's perfectly acceptable. Hip-hop thrives on competition but also on growth. Artists encounter setbacks, learn from them, and evolve. Jay-Z faced losses. Eminem faced losses. Even Tupac and Biggie dealt with public setbacks. What defined their greatness wasn't just their victories, but how they responded to their defeats. Drake has the chance to do the same. But he must let go of his ego, discard the narratives, and abandon the idea that he's always the exception. Because right now, every move he makes reinforces Kendrick's message, that he has lost his drive, focus, and authenticity. And fans can feel it. They can tell the difference between an artist who fights for the culture and one who fights to stay relevant. Between someone who raps out of necessity and someone who raps out of obligation. Kendrick's verses feel essential. Lately, Drake's feel like a chore. Drake shouldn't be in this position. When he's genuinely focused and not sidetracked by trivial conflicts, he remains one of the best in the industry. However, at this moment, he's engaged in a battle that's already been decided, and his refusal to acknowledge this isn't helping him. Kendrick has made his point, and it's clear he has succeeded. So why is Drake still trying to fight back? Why is he attempting to score points when the outcome has already been settled in Kendrick's favor? It might be pride, fear, or the burden of being at the top for too long. Regardless of the cause, it's not helping him, it's holding him back. If he isn't careful, this could turn into a long-term problem. Great artists know when to step back, reassess, and make a comeback. Not every setback means the end of a career, and not every insult needs a response. Sometimes, the best reaction is to stay quiet, and the most effective comeback is to produce outstanding work. Drake should focus on creating a project that redefines his identity and reminds everyone why he was once so respected. He should aim to silence his critics not with subtle digs, but with substantial content. The truth is that this rivalry should have ended. Kendrick has come out on top. Drake needs to take the time to heal his reputation, hone his skills, and return when the moment is right. Not like this. Not chasing after shadows. Not by making a fool of himself. We've seen what happens when artists refuse to adapt. Their careers can fade, not due to a lack of talent, but because of inflexibility. Drake is too smart for that, yet he isn't acting like it. The fact is, Kendrick has won this round. It's over. And every day Drake pretends the feud is still alive. He's not impacting Kendrick, he's only hurting himself. If he truly wants to stay relevant, not just as a top artist, but as a respected rapper, he must acknowledge this defeat, reflect on it, and learn from it. Then he can come back and do what he does best. Make the world forget, not through words, but through his music. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this situation, so please share your opinions in the comments. Also, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications to stay updated on this story.